Hello, I'm Dr. Allison Smith. I'm a professor at UMass Global, and in this video, I am going to be talking about the rubrics for the CalTPA. These are the rubrics that your assessors, the people reading your CalTPA submission, use to give you a score. So it's important to understand exactly what they are looking for, how they score your work, and then how you can use the rubrics to ensure that your submission is strong and meeting the expectations of the CalTPA. Because ultimately, we want you to pass the first time, get it done, and be recommended for your teaching credential. So I'm going to go through the rubrics and help you better understand how to utilize them. So I'm going to share my screen. Just give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. So you should be able to see this now. This is the assessment guide. So when you register for the CalTPA, you will get access to the assessment guide and all of the templates. You'll also have access to these documents in your clinical practice uh, courses. So you should have all of this that you need. The assessment guide is a PDF. It has all the information that tells you what you need to do and what the expectations are. The videos that you're watching on the YouTube channel for our program at UMass Global will help you better understand each of the aspects of them. But ultimately, the assessment guide has everything you need, including the rubrics. So I'm going to go through this. Uh, this is the essential questions for each rubric. This is the focus of the rubric. So it's good to start with what is the rubric actually asking of me? And you will also see the number of rubrics. I'm using cycle 1 as an example, but you would see the same kind of format and way of looking at the rubrics for the other cycle. And you will see for step 1 plan, it says rubrics 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. These are for step 1 and it's cycle 1. So you will see for cycle 1, the first rubric, the guiding question, the essence of what the assessor is looking for and the work that you are showcasing. Remember, the CalTPA is you showcasing your great teaching. The focus is how does the candidate apply findings from recent content-specific information to plan one asset-based, UDL-focused, content-specific lesson and monitor student progress in a safe and positive learning environment? So for this first rubric, that is what the assessor is looking for in your work. And for each of the rubrics, it has these guiding questions. So you'll want to go through and understand, okay, what's the point of the rubric? I'm not going to go through each one. I'm going to go into the rubrics now, but I just want to point out that it's good for you to read this to frame what you're doing and understand, okay, what are they looking for? Why is it important? These are all important things that effective educators do in their teaching. And through the CalTPA, they're trying to just ensure that you're at that beginning level and you can do these basic things to support students. And if you can't, then you need to really hone your skills, improve them, so then when you are finally recommended for your teaching credential, the state knows that you have this foundational understanding of how to support students in the way that the state expects students to be supported. So you'll go through all of those. And in the assessment guide, it then explains each section, each step. So step 1 is plan. So this is the assessment guide. It goes through, it provides great resources. It explains what you need to do. It does a shout out for different aspects. I had done a search for assets for the last thing that I was working on. So just know you can always search the PDF if that is what you're working on. You can put in something and it'll highlight every instance of that word being used. I like to use that if I'm wondering or wanting to know, okay, where are the resources within this document? I would do a search and then it would point me right where I needed to go. So I'm going to go through this, scrolling until I get to the rubric, because remember, this video is focused on the rubrics. Okay, so here we are. Now, after all of the step is explained, and here there's 4 parts to step 1. The step 1 rubrics, for the step 1 rubrics, the assessor is going to look at these 4 items and try to find evidence that you have met the requirements in the rubric. So make sure that throughout these 4, at least in one spot, you are demonstrating that you're doing what the rubric expects. So we're going to dive into this rubric. So now you can see the rubric. Uh, you have levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So to do well with this and pass, you at least need a level 3. That's what you should be shooting for. Level 3 is the level that a new teacher would be at. Levels 1 and 2, these are levels to avoid. And then level 4 is that you're at the basic level, but you're doing a little better with that. Level 5, think of this more as an experienced educator. It's very difficult to get a level 5. You certainly can get levels 4 and 5. I have supported candidates who have reached these levels, but be realistic, level 5 is harder to obtain. And it's more of, if we think of it as someone who's certified as national board or who has some years of experience, they're the ones that are probably going to get a level 5. If you get a level 3, you're great. You're doing well. You're going to pass if all of your rubrics are at a level 3. So we look at this. We know we want to avoid level 1 and 2. We want to hit level 3. When your assessor is going through your work, they start at level 3. And each of these little paragraphs are called constructs. So they're going to look at the first construct and decide, can I find the evidence for this construct in those 4 pieces of evidence? Remember? A, B, C, and D. So they're going to look at A, B, C, and D, try to find evidence of this first construct. So it says candidates lesson planning uses recent content-specific information about the group of students to develop one age/grade level appropriate content-specific learning goal. So they're going to look for evidence in your work for that, and they're going to decide yes or no. Yes, it meets it. No, it doesn't. If it meets it, they're going to go down to the next construct. They're going to read that and determine yes or no. Does it meet can I find this in the evidence? Uh, they have to find all of these constructs for you to get scored at a 3 for rubric 1.1. If they don't find evidence of one of these constructs, they're going to go down to a level 2. And they're going to read these and see if level 2 is more appropriate for your work. If these constructs in level 2 are not met, then they're going to go down to level 1 and decide if level 1 is more appropriate. And I think that it's very important for you to read what level 1 and level 2, level 1 and level 2 state about how your work is. And these are all the things to avoid. For example, candidate does not describe how they will provide a safe, positive learning environment. So in your writing, if you never explain this, expect that you're probably going to get a level one. And know when you are working on your stuff, you double check. Do I mention this? Do I describe it? If not, I don't want to get a one, so I should add that in there. These rubrics are a great way to double check your own work. You should be self-assessing using these, looking through your work. Is do I find or can I find the level three constructs in these four documents? If not, I need to improve. If they're there, great. Then go up to level four. If all the level three constructs are there, your assessor would go up to level four and see if they can find evidence of this level four. Level four is all of level three plus, in this case, candidates planning clearly demonstrates the opportunity for students to learn collaboratively as they progress toward the content specific and related content specific ALD learning goals. So if you have that, that's great. Then you would get a four. Uh, if that's not very clear and you're trying to get a four, make that very obvious or integrate that more into your lesson plan. And then the same, you would go to a level five. A level five, you would only get the score of a five if you have all of level three, level four, plus what's listed here. And I would say always shoot for it, try for it. You might, if you try for the five, maybe you get a four. It's still really good. Or maybe you get a three. You're still solid. You're going to pass the CalTPA. This is the level that a new teacher should be at. And then always look at, again, level one and two. You don't want that in your work. It's the same approach for all of the rubrics. The way that you're scored is they add up the score for each of the rubrics. So for, let's say, cycle one, you have 8 rubrics. You can score between a one and a five. If you score all three, scores of three, you're going to pass. Four, you're going to do better. Five, you're golden. If you're getting the ones and twos, then you're getting closer to maybe not passing. Level two, you can get a couple level twos and still pass. Do the math. If you have 8 rubrics and you have a passing threshold, uh, it's across all of them that you have to meet that total score. So if you maybe get a level two on one rubric, it could be offset by a level four on another rubric. Do not get too many level ones or you won't pass. Multiple level ones will, regardless of your ultimate score, will make you not pass. So absolutely don't get a score of a one. These rubrics tell you exactly what constitutes a level one, so you can avoid it. For each of the rubrics, it tells you exactly what evidence the assessor looks at as they give you a score. So they are going to try to find evidence and they want to find evidence. Assessors want you to be successful. So they're going to search these sources of evidence to try to find proof that you are actually doing these things. So if you have evidence of it, it can be in any of these four things. If you have evidence of it in other parts of the TPA, like the step two, three, and four, they're not going to look at that to score, give you a score for this rubric. So always keep that in mind. And for TPEs, teaching performance expectations, these are what they align with. So each rubric tells you exactly where you're at. The essential question, the constructs, the different levels, the evidence that the assessor is going to look at to try to find that, the proof of you doing those constructs, and then the alignment with the TPEs. You'll see this is another. So for step one in cycle one, you have 4 rubrics. So this is, if there's 8 rubrics, just know half your score is coming from step one. So it's really important to understand how these rubrics can help you strengthen your work and also know where you should be at. I recommend looking at these rubrics before you start writing so you know what the target is. While you're writing, make sure you're on track. And then after you get done writing your CalTPA work, the templates, filling everything out, self-assess against these. Find the evidence. If you can't find the evidence in your own work, an assessor certainly won't be able to. And you risk then getting scored lower if it's not really obvious. So look at the constructs, always start with the level three. This is what I need to make sure is clear in my work. Shoot for the four and the five. Try for it. It is within your reach. You just need to know what you need to do. So you're going to go for it. Rubric 1.2 is all about focus student one. So you need to showcase that you know your focus student, you can develop a good lesson plan that supports them and builds on their assets, and it shows you exactly what you need to do. And again, it tells you the sources of evidence. Throughout the assessment guide, you will find that it will explain the step and then provide the rubrics that the assessor uses for scoring. It describes the next step and then the rubrics. So this is a really helpful document. You need to go through the whole thing, understand what you need to do, how you're being scored, and how you can improve what you do. So I hope this has been helpful in understanding what you need to do and how to use the rubrics in the performance assessment guide.